Cursed by the Gold Gods in Bethany. We are four souls destined to review the 1001 movies,
albums, booze,
songs,
and TV shows you must consume before you die. Until then, we are the Immortals. And this is episode 136.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh.
1 + 3 + 6 is 10.
That's true. That's nice.
Yeah, I like 10.
10's a good number.
My name is Austin.
I'm Sarah.
I'm JC.
I'm Pedro.
I don't know why this week when I said it's episode 136, Pedro and Sarah just stared at me wide-eyed like, oh god, it is.
Yeah, I mean, it's been a while.
It's true. We had a week off because of Thanksgiving travels and whatnot, but we're back. It's December, and we're still doing the show. Yes, it is. What are the big words at the top of the notes?
Oh boy.
Austin, when things are bold and big and red, I tend to gloss over.
I know.
I briefly look at it on my phone, and I think I know what title of movie it is, and I don't think about it again.
Yup.
Oh, man. They always say when you get to episode 136 of a podcast, you really get into a groove and you know what you're doing.
Yeah, totally.
No. God, no.
This is the magic episode.
I'm hoping it's 137.
And then you met me, the wrench in the gears.
That's right. The count starts over. We have a new host. So we're at 6 now.
What?
It's like, what's that book by Malcolm Gladwell? You have to have 10,000 hours.
The 10,000 hours book.
Yeah.
Outliers.
So we restarted our number. So we're back to 6 now.
Yeah, I've done this for approximately 12 hours.
Yeah.
So 1,000. I feel like I've come so far.
We're doing great.
I mean, unless we do 10 hours an episode, we're never going to get good at this.
Obviously,
really
that's the new solution, guys.
Right?
No,
Talk forever.
These episodes are long enough as is.
Apparently not.
I take it all back. Anywho, we said our names. We've said what episode it is. Basic premise, heard in the intro. Review 1001 movies, albums, songs, and TV shows you must consume before you die. This week we're doing the 928th entry in all those lists, and they are the following things. Like the movie.
Oh, shit.
You failed the test, JC.
Reset the hours again.
I was literally like, what should I was thinking about what I wanted to do for my off the list. And now here I am. Audition. We watched Audition.
The album is La Revancha del Tango by Gotan Project.
The song is Strict Machine by Goldfrapp.
And the TV show is, of course, Duck Dynasty.
Of course.
But before we get into what will probably be, I assume, a 45-minute segment on the nuances and themes of Duck Dynasty, let's talk about some other things we watched this week, or I guess 2 weeks, with the off the list. JC, did you think of one during that very long silence we had in the podcast?
I did. My off the list this week is The Single Boys by Lizzo. Have you heard this song?
No.
I don't think so.
It's literally such a bop. You're going to listen to it, and it's all you're going to want to listen to for the next 2 days, and it's going to invade your sleep, and it's going to invade your waking dreams, and your whole life is going to be about thinking about what kind of boys you like, and it's really great.
Hey boy, what you say, boy? You tryna play coy like a game boy? Hit my phone, boy. Is your homeboy? Are you alone, boy? Come get me dome, boy. Got a boy with degrees, a boy in the streets, a boy on his knees, he a man in the sheets. Sheesh, it's all Greek to me. Got this boy speaking Spanish. Ay, papi. Baby, I don't need you.
This seems less of a recommendation and more of a warning.
Yeah, I feel like this is kind of... This is like The Ring. Okay.
Lizzo is so good, though. Lizzo is the only performer I've ever seen play like a flute solo and then launch into like a full-on dance sequence. She's also trying really hard to get cast as Ursula in the Disney live adaptation of The Little Mermaid.
Yes.
So she posts videos of herself on YouTube being carried away by various vehicles and waving and going, "Bye, bitch! Bye, bitch!" And
That's
it's literally
really
the
great
best.
and makes me happy.
Because that's a famous line from The Little Mermaid.
Yeah, famous line.
It is. Poor unfortunate bitches.
Oh, that sounds great.
Oh my god, I love that so much. I
That's
want to write that whole song now.
And then it
That
feels
was
like
bad.
I feel like it would then be a lip sync battle on Drag Race.
Yeah, for sure.
Poor
My
unfortunate
God.
bitches.
Yeah.
I'm 100% sure that's already a RuPaul song.
Yeah, that
Okay.
seems right.
Pedro, you looked very, very desperate the past 2 minutes. Desperate to think of off the list. Thought of one?
Possibly.
Okay, we'll get back to you then. Sarah?
I don't know if they're on the list or not is the problem.
I am watching Little Drummer Girl, which is on BBC America.
Nope.
It's on AMC.
You cannot stop the devil. Only the man performing his work. We believe that you have talent that is being wasted. And if you decide to collaborate on this performance, you will never be wasted again.
What's the character?
You'd let me die just to get to them, wouldn't you?
Fire.
And it's good. It's a miniseries. It's a John le Carre adaptation about, like, I don't know, indoctrination and the Israeli army, and also, like, it's a good thriller. And Michael Shannon's in it, and I love Michael Shannon. And the main character is a woman who, his last name is Pugh. I don't remember what her first name is, P-U-G-H, who I've never seen in stuff, and she is friggin' phenomenal. So, I really like it. And, yeah.
Yeah, I've seen the first episode. It's really good. You also have Alexander Skarsgård.
Oh, yeah. He's famous.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And who you've seen in True Blood and Big Little Lies. And much like how the last le Carre adaptation from this production company, The Night Manager,
So friggin' good.
so good. That was all directed by Suzanne Bier. This season is all directed by Chan-wook Park, the South Korean great director who's also insane because he made Old Boy and The Handmaiden. And now he's doing
Oh my god!
Yeah.
The Handmaiden is like
It's
my
very
favorite
good.
movie of 2017.
I made Sarah watch it a few months back.
It's very good.
It is so... Okay,
I
we
love
can't talk
it.
about it, or else I'll only talk about it, and I'll cancel the podcast and make it a Handmaiden podcast. Because I fucking love that movie. Anyway, I'm so sorry. Go on.
I just now, did you see it twice in theaters?
No, I just saw it once. It's
Okay.
too long to see twice in theaters.
Yeah.
It's a really
In this
long
economy,
movie.
I saw it twice in theaters. Are you fucking kidding me? No. It's so good though, and I think it's on Prime, or it used to be.
It is on Prime. That's
Yeah.
why we saw it. Love that movie so much. Pedro?
Mhm.
How you doing?
Doing alright.
You haven't picked yet?
Yes. I hope it's not on the list, because I'm not actually sure.
What is it?
But I watched The American Astronaut. And that was fun.
What? I don't know what that is.
Oh, it's a dirty, grungy, I think,
What did JC just send us?
I don't know when it
It's
was
important
made.
culture.
You know we're recording a podcast, right?
Yes.
It's
Oh boy.
JC just sent a YouTube link of Lizzo playing flute to us on Skype.
Well, that's very important.
Aha, okay.
I'm not watching that right now.
The American Astronaut is a film that came out in 2001. It's in black and white, indie, sci-fi, space musical that follows this guy who's kind of I don't know if he's a bounty hunter or a cowboy or a smuggler. Basically, he's supposed to get one thing to one place to trade for a boy in Jupiter to bring back to Venus, because Venus is run by ladies, and ladies have evolved so that they don't need men to reproduce. But they
Yeah.
said, quote unquote, after enough generations, they're all sufficiently related that it gets kind of weird and that no one can stand each other, so they have one man that they just kind of do with as they please until he dies, and then they need a new one. And so...
And it's a musical.
And it's a musical.
Okay.
And this
Oh, I like this.
boy that they
also
found
like
is
this.
from a very wealthy, high-to-do family. The ladies have to approve. I mean, it's a very great honor, highly
Sure.
coveted position. So they find this beautiful boy in Jupiter and try to bring him back. And there's a professor that's running after them trying to kill people with his laser gun that turns people into dust.
Sure.
Is that a David Bowie song? We found a
Seriously.
beautiful boy on Jupiter.
Yeah, that really... That sounds odd and great, and I'm kind of
It
here
was
for it.
rather fun. So, yeah.
Pedro, I'm gonna give you this random opportunity here.
Uh-oh.
The past 3 weeks, you've given lots of 3 or 4 weeks movie recommendations I've not seen before,
Mm-hmm.
and movies that I keep saying that I will see, and then have lied to you and not watched them.
Mm-hmm.
Sounds like you.
Before the next episode, I will watch either Blood Diner, Jurassic World: Fallen Kingdom, or The American Astronaut.
Yes!
Which do you want me to watch?
Oh, I don't know.
Don't watch Fallen Kingdom, please.
I mean,
Please.
watch Fallen Kingdom
Please.
in your own time. I'd rather you enjoy
You
it.
know he won't.
Either would go fine. I mean, since Halloween is over, no big push to watch
To this December.
a terrible, not terrible, can't be. You know what, watch The American Astronaut. Why not?
Cool. I will do that.
And then watch Blood Diner.
And the
And then
Jurassic World.
Jurassic World.
Pedro, have you watched the trailer for the Lego Movie too?
No! Are there dinosaurs? Because I saw in a cab sometime last week, on the way home from the train, there were Lego people with little Lego raptors, and it was adorable, and I thought it was maybe a game, but now that you mentioned this, after talking about Jurassic World, are there dinosaurs in it?
Tune in next week to see Pedro's reaction to the Lego Movie 2 trailer.
I mean, that's why people are really listening to the podcast.
It's all the cliffhangers we do.
Okay.
This is the content I want as a millennial.
My off the list pick this week is I really enjoyed the film 8th Grade, written and directed by Bo Burnham.
Hey guys, it's Kayla back with another video. So, the topic of today's video is being yourself. Being yourself can be hard, and it's like, aren't I always being myself? And yeah, for sure. But being yourself is like not changing yourself to impress someone else. A lot of people like call me quiet or shy or whatever, but I'm not quiet.
Most quiet, Kayla Day.
I don't talk a lot at school, but if people talk to me and stuff, they'd find out that I'm like really funny and cool and talkative. By the way, I like your shirt a lot. It's like so cool. What?
It is a really kind of emotional and rather raw look at this very shy 8th grader who's about to go to high school. It is so well acted and so well shot, and such a earnest, vulnerable look at the complete messiness of junior high that it's shocking. It's a first movie by YouTube sensation Bo Burnham. Really like it. Really, really good. I hope it gets some Oscar nominations in a month or so, whenever those come out.
Yeah.
It's
Cool.
great. Recommend it. There's no dinosaurs in those either. Sorry. All right, now it's time for the actual reviews of this.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Ah.
I'm ready to talk about this movie.
What is the movie?
We watched Audition.
오디션やろ
息子に言われたんです。最近勝負遅れてるんで最後にでもしたがって。あさみ。
Audition is a Japanese film, and I can't remember who it was directed by right at this moment. But
Toshiko Miike.
M-I-I-K-E, yeah.
Mhm.
Perfect. So Audition is a film that was made in the late 90s about a gentleman who works as a producer in the film industry who is a widower with a teenage son who finds himself on the down and out and needs a new wife. This is hard. And in order to find somebody to date, he decides, with the help of his friend, who's also a producer, to host auditions where young women think they're going to be in a movie, but they're just auditioning to be his next score. And then when he casts someone, I'm doing big air quotes. Can you see them?
No.
Can you feel them?
Yes.
Can you feel them through the thing? She ends up being a fucking psycho. And yeah, it's pretty great. What did you all think of it? And later, I want to know what everyone's most disturbing part of the movie was for them.
It's very important.
Because there's so many, and I want to know which one was like, Jesus. Anyway, please go.
But more than usual, this is going to be a spoiler-filled section.
Yeah, and really, this is one of those movies that if you haven't seen it and don't know much about it, seriously don't listen and go watch it, because it has a lot of, like, twists that, like, yeah, you should experience it.
And also, it has a trigger warning the size of the sun.
Oh, yeah, that's fair. That's fair.
Like, if you just, a trigger warning the size of the sun.
So I did look up, as soon as I saw a dog in this picture, like at the beginning, I went to a website that I had recently remembered existed called DoesTheDogDie.com.
Yes,
and I found out that DoesTheDogDie.com has expanded to include a whole bunch of different trigger warnings, making it a genuinely useful site. So that's cool.
Awesome.
Did they have, like, pages devoted to this movie?
They had a lot of yeses. It's just a yes or no. So yeah, there were just a lot of yeses.
And the rare
literally,
hell yes.
Like, the only thing that isn't in this movie is, like, does a horse fall off a cliff? Like, that's the only thing not in this movie.
Yeah. It's kind of a lot.
Yeah, please.
So I have a question I want to, like, ask the boys and JC. I think I know what I think, but I think it's an interesting question, which is this a feminist movie?
As a boring straight white male, I feel never like the person to answer that question.
Fair.
So I will
You're not.
awkwardly, with my voice keep getting higher, yes.
Do you have an opinion, Pedro?
I think more yes than no. I think something that's like that I kept thinking about is, since, I'm not Japanese or anything, I don't know how much of the creep factor was just lost in translation amongst the dudes, or if it was just all 100% pure creep. I am almost thinking
Pretty
the
much
former.
Pretty much
the latter.
Pretty much 100% creep, yeah.
So I wasn't very meh. I was like, okay, you are.
I
feel like you have to clarify because I'm a little confused about what you're saying. Like you found, like, are you saying
I don't know if the movie was judging them for being terrible people, or if it was trying to say that this is a crazy bitch. Like, it's kind of hard to decide where it's going, or what level of that spectrum it falls on.
I think that was what got me, because I think until the end, I was like, this is portraying this person as, like, super creepy, and, like, this Asami is also really creepy, but also, like, you understand why, or, like, I don't know. And then at the end, when she dies, that's when I was like, I don't know what this is trying to say. I felt up until then, like, as I kept thinking about Hard Candy when I was watching this movie. Like, this movie is really similar to Hard Candy. And I feel like that movie is, like, very feminist, and, like, Ellen Page has moments where you're like, oh no, Patrick Wilson is gonna escape or whatever, or you question her motives or what she's doing. But at the end, you're like, oh shit, like, he's a bastard. Kick him off the roof. And I would say at the end, I was like, I don't know what this movie is quite trying to say about the situation.
Yeah, I was really intrigued by it because Asami never felt like a real person to me.
Yeah,
and
she's like a
the movie
ghost.
is like, certainly playing at the edges of the supernatural, for sure. Although, like, it's not explicitly, like, it could be, like, people's weird dreams and stuff. Like, it's definitely playing at the edge of the supernatural. And she's very much, like, kind of a, like, it was interesting, as soon as, like, the movie flips, and there's this, like, really creepy moment where you see her sitting alone in her apartment, and it's just her and a bag that is oddly shaped. And
she's staring at the phone.
And like, an old-timey phone.
Mm-hmm.
And she's got her hair over her face like Samara from The Ring. And, like, at that point I was like, oh, we're doing, like, a succubus thing. We're doing, like, some sort of, like, women taking their power from men thing. And I was like, well, that's kind of boring. And then, as it went on, I sort of saw her more as, like, the, like, horrifying avenging angel of, like, oppressed Japanese women.
Mm-hmm.
Because, like, her whole history, as far as we know it, is, like, a lot of abuse. Like, she's a child abuse survivor. And, like, all of the men who are depicted in the movie are, like, very bad people. Like, not sort of bad people. Like, very bad people. In different ways, but, like... And so I really liked this movie as that. Like, Kill Bill is a movie that I deeply hate. Kill Bill 1 and 2, because it tries to do, I don't know, avenging quote-unquote feminist angel, and instead is just, like, a fucking mess. I hate that movie. I hate it so much. But this is very much, like, creepy, like, definitely not, she's definitely not the hero, but more of a sort of, like, you reap what you sow feel that I was super into, and it kind of reminded me, weirdly, the message reminded me of, what was that movie we watched? With the women?
A Question of Silence.
A Question of Silence.
I thought about that too.
Which is, JC, you have to watch this movie.
Is that the sequel to the Act of Killing?
No.
No, that's The Look of Silence.
No, The Question of Silence is a weird movie that none of us had seen until it was, like, assigned on this podcast. And it is a strange, awesome movie about female, like, retaliatory violence. It's a really good time.
A Dutch drama.
Oh, yeah.
It's real good.
Okay,
but I was thinking about that. This is, like, the most horrifying and disturbing version. But yeah.
Yeah. I think in some ways it's very hard. Is this a feminist film or not is always such a hard question to answer, because it always feels like it's so much more than yes and no.
Yeah.
Because then I think about, like, how many women, like, get to just be that unhinged in their like total, like, the part that sticks out for me, aside from, like, the casual, like, garroting and really intense acupuncture at the end of the film, is the part where she, like, makes herself throw up into a bowl and feeds it to, like, to Bagman, the man in the bag.
The man that's in the bag.
To the man in the bag living in her apartment. And I was just like, wow, like, sometimes for me, I'm like, is it a feminist film? I'm not sure, but it feels feminist that now we have, like, more, that, like, we are widening the portrait of, like, what women can be in movies. Like, that to me, it all feels like it's always, like, an achievement, especially because I felt like until she died, like, you saw her life, but, like, she doesn't really lose. I mean, I would say even,
Nope.
like, when she died, she didn't lose, you know, like, that motherfucker still doesn't have a foot. So, that's, yeah.
I think what's interesting for me is that I don't see the film judging her as much as it judges him.
Mm-hmm.
And, like, it's funny because it takes about 50 minutes entirely from his point of view. And the movies like Hard Candy and a few other ones where it is kind of a female revenge film, you watch the males for just such a small portion, and then the audience is, like, told to turn on them. Of like, okay, Patrick Wilson was charming for 10 minutes, now he's all tied up, kind of thing. And we no longer see him as, like, the charming guy. they spend so much time with these men completely thinking as women as one-dimensional people and prizes. And to go on like Pedro's point about whether or not the film saw them as creepy, on this watch I kind of realized that, they talk about like, hey, we could do this audition thing, it could be kind of fun, it'd be sweet. At that point, it could still be McConaughey romantic comedy.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
But then when they start the audition, they do a really long shot of the window going down, and it's so mechanical and like so ominous. So once the audition starts and it's real, it is so creepy. When it's hypothetical, it was like, this could be a meet cute. And then it's felt gross.
Yeah. And it's
No, sorry, go ahead, Sarah.
It's also like they are like in sort of subtle ways, unless you're a woman who's been in a sexually harassing situation, like they're crossing all of the lines that men cross. Like the questions they ask the women, like, have you ever thought about working in the sex trade? And like, have you, like, do you have a boyfriend? And like stuff like that, which is like, that's what like creepy dudes who are like quote unquote interviewing you for a job do when like they want to fuck you. And like, so it's like Asami is like, for the first half of the movie, she's not a character. She's just her understanding, her pitch perfect understanding of exactly what this guy wants. And I think it was interesting to me because like, it was actually in the Wikipedia page on like the criticism section, like just pointing out that like, this has been seen as a really feminist film or a really misogynist film, because the other reading of the film is bitches be crazy, right? That like, it's, basically this like torture, like about like a female, torturer. And I mean, I think that's a pretty like light reading of it, but it's definitely, I really like the way this movie is playing with that question and is playing with whether Asami is a character or almost like a creature that is like not of this world or human and is somehow more of like a representative, like creature from the Black Lagoon horror monster. And it's like somewhere in between, like trying to think what there's got like, I felt like, cause like when she's walking into all her dates, there's just this vibe that is, I don't even know.
Like the shape from like that sort of menacing, like you don't quite know, but she's just like the shape in that way where it's like, okay, you're here and now I'm tense.
Like a bit Stepfordy a little bit.
Yeah. There's something weird about
Stepford shape.
weird about the way she walks and very like concerning about the way that she talks. And like, it's not, she has no personality really. It's really, I thought that there's a scene like, the wardrobe is like really striking where she's got this white dress that she wears and then this giant red coat. And like as soon as she's walking down the street, you're like, where did she get that? Right. Like this is weird. And he's just like not even.
Because apart from that, she only wears one thing the entire film, which is stark white, goes completely against her very pale skin with her very dark hair.
And his friend like gets it. His friend is like, this girl is creepy. The guy she mentioned in the audition, not real. I mean, no real. Disappeared. Like, don't date this girl. This is a bad plan. But he's like in this like spell, and she really does feel, like
and it was
supernatural.
It wasn't even like this one. This is, I keep going back to this, like, as creepy as the audition scene and all of that was, even just the idea of starting this off. His intrigue with her wasn't her looks, it wasn't her picture, it was an essay that she wrote in her voice, which is weirdly darker. It's like, I've experienced death and loss, and I guess you're supposed to take it as, he can connect with her because he's also experienced severe loss when his wife died. But
or she's vulnerable because she's needy, which is like, it's like, but
it's something I can control.
It's something weird, and I don't know.
But then,
I feel like, no, go ahead.
No, sorry, I keep but like, it's also weird though, because like her little like, I didn't really, like the like, you must love only me sort of motivation that she voices, like, doesn't jive with like the other stuff her character is, and does tilt more towards like the, what is it, like Basic Instinct, right? That's the
Fatal Attraction.
Fatal Attraction, like which is like more of the like traditional like bitches be crazy storyline. It's definitely not like a perfect, like, it's certainly not like a perfectly clear movie, and I'm not sure that that's even something that I would get clearer on a rewatch. Like, but it's not muddled exactly. I think it just doesn't want to be super clear.
Yeah, I think to me, the worst part of the movie is the last 5 minutes. I actually spent a lot of today looking at forums to explain, like, was all the torture a dream? What was this going on? Was it production? And honestly, I've seen this movie twice now. I don't care. I just think the whole thing happened. I don't care about why they wake up like that. I appreciate all the really long Reddit theories about it. I prefer to see it as things that happen because I can't fathom a world where he would dream this. And even so, then the phone calls won't make sense.
Right.
So I just like to think that it all happened. So I'm just ignoring.
Yeah.
Apparently, Mike said in a commentary track that, all the torture stuff happened.
Yeah. Yeah, I
find it intriguing that Austin is very upset about the ending of The Wizard of Oz, which is essentially the same as this. Well, but that was a problem, but this isn't. Just saying.
Both of them are me ignoring it's a dream part.
But see, in The Wizard of Oz, Dorothy would have to go back to sleep in Kansas and wake up in Oz again and be like, oh god, no.
Yeah, no,
a lion ate my foot.
That would be the best fucking thing if she wakes up and like the balloon's gone. She's like, oh shit.
Yeah, I mean, I read it as a double dream that he like has like a weird trauma vision that like he's okay, where everything was last okay, and then he comes back to his senses. And
okay,
the movie. That's how I
like that more.
Yeah.
Also,
I don't know. Yeah.
Playing into the sort of maybe she has the supernatural power was, I guess, what kind of kicked all of this off, which is when they go away together. He plans to take her on a trip to propose to her because this is the one for him. And then they, I suppose, have sex. They don't actually say if they did or not. Basically, they just show the curtain or a cover being drawn over the two of them after he goes into bed with her. And then crash, and then he wakes up looking severely hungover and not aware of his surroundings, and like he's been asleep for days, which is weird. But then that's the setting that he wakes up again when he sort of falls into this dream while being tortured. And it just made it a little more confusing. I don't know.
I feel like,
oh, go ahead.
Yeah, it's so interesting because I feel like when we're talking about movies and it's like there's like these sort of like distinct streams of interpretation, I feel like this is an accomplishment in that it is the rare movie where I feel like it says more about the person deciding on like how it ends than it does about the movie. Like when I watched it and then I did my like combing of the internet where I was like, tell me the theories and the criticisms, etc. I went to TV tropes, and it was so interesting to me how many like reviews or forums or whatever describe like the first half an hour of this movie as like cute or funny,
weird,
or like a rom-com. And it to me is so. That says so much more about the people watching it than it does about the movie. And I think the same thing about like people who are like, oh, like it was a dream, or like bitches be crazy or whatever. Like to me, like if you are a certain type of person and you're watching this movie, I think it says more about you if you come away from it feeling like that. Whereas like if you're sitting in front of it, it's also very easy to read the signs that this dude's a fucking creeper. This is a fucking creepy process. And he got his foot cut off because you don't treat people like that. Drop the mic.
And also, like, Japanese culture is, like, misogynist to a degree that is, like, deeply horrifying, even from the U.S.'s standard, which is a pretty misogynistic place.
And that's why I like that link so much, because since it's from his point of view for so long, it's up to you, the audience member, to recognize it's creepy. It's not going to tell you, But when
Yeah,
it does
exactly.
tell you, it's going to cut off his foot.
Yeah,
So
right.
it's going to scream it at you.
And if it literally took you that long to realize that he's not a good person, then you should watch a movie again
Guys,
and
he
watch
just
that
had
part.
the first date jitters, you know, young love, it's all excitement, and he was just all like,
He's not young.
no. He's like 20 years older than her.
Ass man.
So in the kind of insane back half or last third of the movie, a lot of people kind of credit this as like the early days of like torture porn in movies. And I never really saw it as that, because to me, like, torture porn is bad. I love that
Right.
you're both doing this to me while I'm talking. Because, like, movies like Hostel or Human Centipede, or even to
Saw?
a different degree the Saw film. Well, like, so, like, Hostel and Human Centipede have zero characters. It just wants to have torturous things for the sake of creatively making torture things. Saw has themes that are just stupid. But they think they're really smart, but it's still just an excuse to have the torture scenes. I never felt this to be torture porn, because even though it is absurdly graphic torture scenes,
Yeah.
it was still always to me like character and thematically based.
Yeah,
And
no,
those other
they
films
were
weren't.
the people underlying those scenes were very important. He's very important. She's very important. Like,
And why this is
you
happening.
can't separate
Yeah.
them from what is happening and why.
And like what she's doing
Yeah,
is gross and important, which is part of it too.
So I think it's time to go back to one of JC's initial questions, because I'm watching Sarah wince. What were the most upsetting images or disturbing moments in the movie?
okay, mine, I think, was while she's inserting all the pins, when she decides to move up to the eyes and just scooches along
Oh,
all
yes.
of the
That part was wild.
chest pins.
Mhm.
Oh man, that was, I don't know, for some reason that bothered me more than other stuff.
She like sits on them,
Yeah.
and you're just like, oh, A, that can't feel good for her,
Ugh.
and B, that was probably really painful. Not that I care, but
I don't do eye stuff. I don't do eye stuff. I can't. Nope. Nope.
Say what happens.
Nope. 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 Nope.
kitty, 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 kitty.
Nope. 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 Nope.
It's my dramatic reenactment.
I found the way, like, I guess the most disturbing image for me is just like the glee she had while cutting off the foot. Like, she's just really proud of her handiwork. But to me,
That is what you texted me.
Yeah.
She's so proud of her wire.
yeah.
I mean, she did it very well. Like,
Yeah.
nice smooth strokes. Like,
The sound,
no,
the sound
no.
of the wire hitting the bone
yeah,
was like
Nope. Nope.
awful,
Nope.
awful.
I
Yeah.
think actually a pretty disturbing scene is when you can tell that the wire has gotten to the bone, but not
Mhm.
through it, and you can see the
Oh.
foot pivoting independently in a way it shouldn't about
Do we
the
have
ankle.
to talk about this?
This is how we're wrapping this up.
Please don't.
Because well, my favorite image of the movie is not a gross out image of horror, but because the first time you see her place, like you said, that she's sitting by the phone, there's a giant bag behind her, like way larger than a garbage bag, like a knapsack bag, and it's just there. It's really weird looking.
Yeah.
Then the second time you're in that room, then the bag moves.
Yeah,
And that is an amazing shot of horror. That's probably my favorite shot in the movie.
Oh,
but
Neil
JC
Time.
needs to say their worst or favorite disgusting moment.
I think it's the puke. I really don't like puke. And it was a lot when she puked into the bowl and he ate it. Because initially I was like, oh, is it soup? Is it miso soup? And then I was like, oh no. Oh no.
It's mealtime.
Yeah. Yummy, as my
Ooh.
subtitles said.
So I've been
No,
trying
no,
to find this online. We keep saying the sound. Kitty, 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 kitty. It's what she
Oh, it
does.
means cut.
Oh,
It's,
is that what it is?
Yes.
Yeah,
No,
in
deeper,
Japanese,
deeper.
like
is what-
there's a lot
Well-
of words that are like onomatopoeic,
Yeah.
and it's an onomatopoeic word for cut.
Okay,
It
because
means-
what I found
yeah.
was onomatopoeia for rotating quickly, also hurting sharply, and promptly at once and right away, and then also as a noun, it might be drill.
I heard deeper.
My subtitles said deeper.
That's what the
deeper.
subtitles said,
Yeah.
but I was like, I gotta figure this out, because I wanted to know if that's really what she's saying.
And now I'm going to walk away because this is grossing me out.
For dog, I think, is pero pero, and it's supposed to be like, and it means like lick lick. It's like whatever. Okay. It's like us being like bow wow or like meow meow.
Interesting. Okay.
But it's in Japanese.
Huh. So good.
So it's a wild movie. Any other last thoughts?
Peter, did you watch this at work?
No, I was actually thinking, can I watch this on the bus? And then it was still audition scene, and the girl takes her top off. I'm like, no, not safe for work, not safe for the bus.
That's good that random nudity was there, not only just to further judge the grossness of the audition scene, but to tell you not to watch this at work.
Yes,
because it's going to get a lot grosser. Sarah just walked away for a second, but she did watch this at work during her lunch break. But luckily, she has her own office that she can close the door. But
oh my god!
I know.
That's fancy shit.
She woke up this morning, watched the first 50 minutes, and was tired, so decided to take another 45-minute nap instead of finishing the movie. I went, wait, you're 50 minutes in? Uh-oh. She goes, I watched it during lunch. I was like, okay.
Let me just get my spaghetti and meatballs here and watch. Oh my god.
Kick my feet up on my desk.
Pickle pig's feet.
What?
For lunch.
You haven't had pig's feet for lunch?
Yeah.
Yeah. You brought it in a big bag?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Very big bag.
All right, here she goes back.
With the side of tongue.
The tongue was really gross, too.
The tongue was...
I forgot about the tongue. Yeah.
Nope.
Seriously.
All right.
Nope.
I mean, I'll be honest, probably the biggest cringe, like immediately like, whoa, was probably the dog. Because that was just...
Yeah. Why'd you have to mention the dog?
Because...
I like that when Sarah walked away, we talked about how her office is big, and we come back...
Why would you do this to me? I was trying to forget.
It was sad. I don't think... It was sad. It does not compare to the cat violence in the American girl with the dragon tattoo. Which is
I forgot that was part of it.
That I will never forget. So...
All right, now it's time for...
We're done now.
Yes, we're done.
JC, what do you give it?
It's hard. It is a movie that I think I would rate a 4.25, and I will never watch it again.
I give it a 4.5. I liked it so much more this viewing than when I saw it like in high school or college.
That's right, you fucking sadist. Watch it twice. What the fuck?
I give it a 4.2, and the experience discussing torture scenes with the three of you, a negative 30.
Wow.
I don't
is that like when Uber drivers give their passengers a low score?
It is exactly like that, JC.
Hinges on us as hosts. I don't have anything to back that negative 30 up with, Sarah.
Oh, don't.
What are you doing?
Audience members, do not hinge rate us. That would be terrible. We don't want to see
this.
It's
just called iTunes reviews.
That's true. Leave us some. Help people find. I don't give a shit. Whatever. Pedro, what do you give it hinge-wise?
I will give this also a 4.5 because I think I liked it and I want to watch it again.
Pedro,
well, that's absurd.
It's crazy
I'm gonna start high and then maybe I'll back down, but
the dudes gave this the highest ratings.
Better this than Fallen Kingdom : or whatever.
Fallen colon is the name of that movie now.
Jurassic World Fallen :
Yeah.
Better than the first one.
So
So
was Transformers: Dark of the Moon, but don't go see Transformers: Dark of the Moon.
It was?
You can watch Chicago blow up for like an hour and a half.
It's funny that the last time we had the is this a feminist film conversation was when we asked Pedro about Jurassic Park Fallen Kingdom.
We didn't have a definitive answer then or now. So.
I'm not the one to give that answer.
No, it was yes if it was just about Blue the Raptor.
That's right.
Anyway.
Sarah, you look visibly upset.
I am. It wasn't honestly like watching it like whatever. Like I can watch things that are awful, but I don't want to think about it and talk about it. And now I'm gonna have nightmares.
You're not gonna like the last segment of this show.
This is true.
But now it's time for the album segment.
The album is not about torture. It's called,
you didn't translate it.
It's called La Revancha del Tango by Gotan Project.
Queremos paz.
Gotan Project.
Get on, Project.
Gotan
Sorry,
Project.
no. It's called La Revancha del Tango by Gotan Project.
Oh.
Used that.
Gotan Project.
Okay. So, La Revancha del Tango is the first album of the Gotan Project, which is a Argentinian South American group. They're Argentinian and French. They're like, those are their two main like places that they are a part of the music scene. I do always love to go on Wikipedia and find the genre descriptions, because the people who like do Wikipedia music editing really branch out.
It's really a sub section of our show is
Yeah.
to discuss the album Wikipedia
So-
genres.
Electronica and tango, those are not surprising, but there's apparently a whole genre called neo-tango, which this is a part of. So,
What?
Oh.
When does tango become neo-tango?
tango becomes neo-tango is, like, basically the last, like, 30, 40 years, and it's also, like, got a different dance to go along with, as what, like, it's a different, like, it's like a more complicated dance, too. So, like, some of the music from Gotan Project, including some of the songs on this album, have been featured on, like, Dancing with the Stars and other, dancing programs, because you can dance to them. It's what it sounds like. It sounds like tango music, but sort of cool and updated and a little bit electronica-y. And not gonna lie, to me it sounded like elevator music, and I was not into it and didn't care.
It was like soundtrack music to me, because right now on Let's Take 5 we're watching all these Pedro Almodovar films. It felt like a transition scene in an Almodovar film in a good way.
I mean, it is indeed regularly used as soundtrack music too.
Yeah.
So
Because I listened to it while doing very boring tasks of put on my coat, walked about half a mile to a mile to go return thing to the library, got on a bus, but all of those actions felt like I was in a movie, because it just had this like poppy like momentum music to it all, that even the idea of just like buying some Diet Coke from Walgreens had a bit of personality. Like, oh,
I mean, it has
what
some
are they up to?
accordion
That's walk by
in
me.
there. Whenever you add accordion, things just get spicy.
apparently they used
That's
it
why
in
Weird Al is so sexy.
of course. Apparently they used it a bunch of times on Top Gear, which makes perfect sense.
It does.
Yeah.
Never. Oh, Top Gear. Okay.
Top
yeah.
Gear.
I was like,
I
what?
thought it was Top Chef for a while.
No,
like,
Top Gear.
Okay. Oh,
With the
Top
cars.
Gear. That makes sense.
Yeah.
Yeah, I liked it. I mean, I accidentally listened to it on shuffle because the iTunes Music app is terrible.
That might have helped you. Not gonna lie.
How?
Okay, I'm somewhere between the two of you. I liked the beginning. I thought it was fun. I liked how it was, this take on classic Argentine music, that sort of thing. But it's a very long album with many tracks. And after a good amount of time, I was at work, so I mean, my focus would fade in and out. But it did sort of like all mesh together into like one sort of continuous thing until like a few tracks. Like there's a track where it's just like rap. But it was fun towards the beginning, and I liked it. When I started the album over, I'm like, oh yeah, I do like this, but I'm not going to listen to the whole thing again. So it's got this weird, like, boring but fun aspect to it.
I get that. I think if it was shorter, I'd listen to it more often, I suppose. But I guess I did like that also that, okay, I hope this is just my iPhone being annoying, that each track did like have a very like distinct fading out, like, and this is the end of this song.
Yeah,
I felt like it was a very like nice, like complete thing.
Nope,
Like,
I think
okay,
that was just your
Really?
your iTunes
this is a garbage.
fade out. Yeah. Sorry, bud.
That's why
Spotify.
only should listen to podcasts only on this thing.
Clearly.
Yeah,
It doesn't dramatically fade out.
No.
Fuck, all my positive traits are just my phone fucking up.
Wah, wah.
Oh man, it's being tortured all over again.
No, it was alright.
Yeah.
Fine.
Cool.
Wow, this is great listening.
Yeah, sorry. I really don't. I mean, honestly, like, if tango is your thing, and you are, it is really good soundtrack music and background music. I think if tango is more my thing, I would, like, totally listen to this album, like, while working and, you know, while doing stuff, because, as Austin says, it makes your life seem pretty, like, awesome.
Do it while running errands. You'll find your life is way more interesting.
Yeah, it feels like a little. I listened to like half a song.
Then you were exhausted,
and it felt very much like I'm bustling to the grocery store.
Yes.
I need bananas. I need ham. I need crackers.
Yeah, and then you may meet like your new best friend. Like, is that kind of music? Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, and we dance out together.
Yeah.
Well, obviously.
I mean, no dogs died during the album.
No, that's true. No dogs died during the album. I just wish I liked this more. 2.5.
3.8.
3.6.
Cool. That is, nope, not gonna say this right.
La Revancha del Tango by Gotan Project.
What's Revancha?
Return, I think.
Okay. That makes sense.
I think.
Oh, okay. The return of the tango, neo-tango stuff.
Yeah, somehow that's a word that never quite made it in
Portuguese
vocabulary very often. So I don't think
It's not revenge, is it?
I don't
know. I'll have to look it up.
I feel like revenge has a G in it, but maybe it doesn't.
Cool.
Yeah.
Good radio.
What else we hear, Pedro?
We heard "Strict Machine" by Goldfrapp. Strict Machine is a song by Goldfrapp. It came out on their album Black Cherry. That's very important because when I looked up the song Strict Machine Goldfrapp on Amazon Music, it's like, here's an album called Strict Machine. I'm like, it must be from that. And then I open up the album and it's like, all these mixes and remixes of mixes of the song. I'm like, okay, I think I've got to figure out which one to actually do. So then I opened up the book that I have.
Hey!
Actually use it, yeah.
Look at that!
I know. And then it told me which album to look at. And then
wow.
I got the album, and I listened to, hopefully, the original. It's I think Wikipedia says electro clash. I don't know, electronic dance music of some sort.
What's it clashing with?
I don't know. Itself.
There's two types of music. There's music you listen to, and there's music that when you're listening to it, you become embroiled in a music video about whatever you're doing, and it's playing on your everyday life with great imagination and artistry, and this song is definitely in the second category.
So, I guess weirdly enough, that's what I described the last album as,
But this is actually...
This is good.
Have you seen the music video for this song?
What?
Have you seen the music video for this song?
That's the way I watched it.
It is great.
Is
it
great?
I haven't seen it.
I love that sort of it looks like if iTunes and Windows and all the other media players from back in the day got together and came up with one visualization that you could watch.
It does.
That is so funny, because that's what Sarah said while watching.
I said this looks like it's made by a freakish version of the iTunes visualizer. Yeah.
Exactly. It's like they all came together and
it looks like the aura for one of my migraines, but I love it.
So I just love that sort of. I love it when there's shapes that move to the music. I love that kind of symmetry. All the symmetries. There's rotational, horizontal, vertical. All that.
It's very
kaleidoscope.
Kaleidoscopic.
Yes, yes, very much so. Colorful,
Mm-hmm.
not sometimes. It was great. I had a lot of fun.
It was swanky. That's what I would even describe this song. It's fucking swanky. Like, you walk and you're like, I'm walking into work, but I have to move my hips a little bit more.
I get that.
I can't resist.
And I presume the lady on that is Goldfrapp?
I mean,
There's one person in the... Goldfrapp is the name of the group, and then in it is Allison Goldfrapp, and then some guy and some other person.
like it's her last name?
It's her last name.
I feel like I definitely assumed that it was just like a combination of gold and a random syllable.
They are a duo. Allison Goldfrapp and Will Gregory on the synthesizer.
Well, I'm glad they named it Goldfrapp and not Gregory. It's way
Yeah,
more entertaining.
I think they made the right choice there.
Greg
Sorry, Will.
Frapp. Frappery.
There's a lot of frappery going on in this.
Yeah.
Frappery.
But I mean, like, the song's not that good, guys.
No, it's fine. It's like not that
I
interesting.
don't know. It's a good beat. I did listen to it like 30 times in a row, as I do.
Which is exactly how you should review
towards
music.
the end, I did start getting a little exhausted by the constant thrashing in my ears.
And again, I'm barely defending the song, but that's not the song's fault. Isn't it 30 times in
No,
a
it's
row?
not the song's fault. But I did road
You
test
listened
this
to it
song.
until it became only noise, Pedro. You listened to it until the joy leached out of it and back into the air.
Yeah, I experienced the full range that this song can be.
It's like you're a theater critic and you saw every single show of its run and it got repetitive.
Hey, one of your favorite podcasts is Let's Watch a Movie over
I
and
know.
over again until we die.
Get there.
It was episode.
Paul Blart.
No,
Yeah, it was that podcast called The Worst Idea of All Time.
that's fair.
So?
That's what it's called.
I love that
Till
podcast.
death do us blart.
That's their spin-off where
Very,
where
very
they're gonna
important
watch
spin-off.
where they're gonna watch Paul Blart Mall Cop 2 every Thanksgiving until they all die. And they have successors if they do die in the year, for someone to take their place.
It's very important.
This is adorable.
What?
I broke 100 tabs on my Chrome in my phone, and what it does is it turns into a little smiley face instead of saying the number of tabs you have open.
I feel like that's just
Just
a
a
way to
pic-
make crazy people feel better. Why do you have that many tabs
Is that
open?
a little smiley face up there?
Pedro, why are you so open about sharing your shame in this public forum?
No,
Man,
wait,
that is
I-
a lot.
Pedro-
Why don't you ever close websites?
No. It's like a time capsule. Pedro showed this before. Pedro, scroll up a couple of swipes. What kind of those tabs are you saying? Because it's like he's back in time
Google
with the
staff
news.
walk out over women's treatment.
That was a couple weeks ago.
Yeah.
Yeah, man.
Pedro's like
1 November is one of my
keep scrolling back.
oldest articles.
Is Pedro Howard Zinn chronicling history of the United
Oh, I have the
States?
rocket, or not the rocket, the article on the Soyuz rocket failure, which is important. I still have to read that. I'm curious as to what happened.
You have 100 articles that are like
I don't even know what to
major
say.
front page
Goldman
news.
Bankers, stuff.
Pedro, did we win the election?
Oh my god, Pedro's living in a much better world.
Trump says he always tries to tell the truth when he can. That's a fun headline that I have not yet heard.
I missed that headline, but I enjoyed it.
Right.
I heard that and it was exhausting.
I've got the gist. I don't need to leave this one open, but
Yeah.
I do.
Okay.
Pedro, why did you start doing this?
What, opening tabs?
No, talking about this.
Oh, because I noticed when I was on my tab with Goldfrapp that my tab thing was a little happy face. And I'm like, that's weird.
It's kind of pandering.
I guess.
Yeah, it is.
It is.
Any final thoughts on this song?
And it's not even a happy. It's a :D. Like that's a capital D with a colon in front of it.
That's not a happy face, that's a laughing face, you
I don't
cretin.
care.
Yeah, it's a laughing at you face.
Ha ha
Yeah.
ha, you idiot. That's what it's saying.
Should we henge this
No,
song?
Pedro's- Pedro,
Yeah,
we
can we can we move forward into the future? Past the chronicling of Pedro's internet history.
Austin and I still have to talk about Duck Dynasty.
Oh man. All right, I think it's time to henge this song. I will give it a solid 3.8 henges.
Just 3. Is
A 3.
fine.
Yeah, 3.
God damn.
What?
I tried being conservative on my henge rating.
You're always nicer than all of us.
Yeah, I suppose that's true.
Yeah. Anywho, now it's time for some bullshit. The TV show that is scarier than the kitty thing right now.
Every time I see the cats, I go, kitty, kitty, I think it's, yeah.
Nope.
Nope.
We're done talking
No,
about
I
it. We're
just-
done.
no,
We're done
I
talking
just-
about the movie. No more movie, please.
We watched Duck Dynasty.
Meet the Robertson clan. They turned duck calls into a multi-million-dollar empire. But running a family business is tough when the family just wants to run wild.
Damn cat.
Kitty, kitty, kitty.
And by we watched Duck Dynasty, Austin watched.
I also watched Duck Dynasty.
I did not.
Did you really?
Yeah, I did. I have things to say. But first, I have to take the food away from my cat. Shut up.
I want to say a sentence that's never been said before. I regret that I mismanaged my time over the holiday weekend, so I could not watch Duck Dynasty.
Well, luckily for you, you can still watch Duck Dynasty, because since you're new to the show, you don't know that if you watch anything you missed earlier, just do a quick little old business, new hinges.
Yeah.
And you let us know your thoughts on Duck Dynasty and give it a hinge rating.
Wow.
So
you've really made that pitch.
So now you can watch this show, which ran for 11 seasons. It's over 120 episodes, 130 episodes. Who gives a shit? It follows the Robertson family, who have a family business where they sell little duck call things. They say in the open credits it's a multi-million-dollar thing. I have questions about that, but...
No, it is. It actually is.
It
There's
is.
a lot of duck hunters out there.
I
I didn't
mean-
know that was how they made their money. I thought they actually farmed ducks.
No.
No, Pedro.
I mean, they definitely are a small number. They're a small number of millions dollar company.
Why couldn't you open a tab about that, Pedro?
I'm about to.
Oh my god.
I went below 100 when I closed out all my Goldfrapp tabs.
And it stopped smiling at you.
All of your Goldfrapp tabs? You had multiple?
I mean, I have Strict Machine, I have Allison Goldfrapp, electronic music.
Pedro's investing
The
in Goldfrapp.
Google landing page when I Google Strict Machine Goldfrapp. Yeah, there's a few.
I Googled Duck Dynasty in Wikipedia, but I didn't see it because it was hidden behind the Skype thing, and then I moved it, and I accidentally typed Cuck Dynasty.
I mean,
did you use Google as a verb for searching in Wikipedia? Like within Wikipedia?
Fifth play of the tape.
Kitty.
So this is a bullshit show. You got the main guy, Willie Robertson. He has a beard. He's CEO. That's how he's CEO all the time. This is his main characteristic thing. You got his dad, who's a awful person.
Yeah.
His name's Phil Robertson. He speaks at Republican conventions now. So
at what conventions?
Republican conventions, like
they all do. Yeah, they're assholes.
Yeah, Jace Robertson. He says he's CFO. Kind of confused on how that works. He has a beard. They all have beards. They're all terrible, terrible people. So, okay. It ran for 11 seasons. This is part of a genre which I think has no redeeming value. Typically,
all right, I'm going to be the weirdo here,
Let's
clearly,
go for it.
because I'm going to say something that I don't want you to take too far.
Do you want us to stop recording?
I enjoyed Duck Dynasty more than you did.
That's fair.
Ooh.
Well, I'm just gonna...
I mean, what have you had to? Like,
by
definition. So I've been, because I was trying to look for what this genre, it seemed like there should be a sub-genre name for this kind of...
I see a lot of docudrama, reality docudrama
But it's
series.
It's not quite, I would say it's like, this is like somewhere between The Osbournes, which was by and large a mostly or actually non-scripted show, and was actually The Osbournes just being crazy people. And like Real Housewives, which is like even this scenario, even like it's really like even closer to fiction, I think, than Duck Dynasty is.
What? I've never seen a Real Housewives show, but I've seen a little bit of like Kardashians and like Jersey Shore, which is also kind of the reality show without a competition going on.
Yeah,
and they'll set up like, oh hey, we're gonna go to blank today, but they let Jersey Shore and Kardashians speak a lot more without editing than this show does.
I think so the Robertsons, they're a bunch of hicks. They are terrible homophobic monsters, which is something that does not become clear until a little while into the show, because it doesn't come up, but they are, and they are really terrible people. They have said terrible things. They have done terrible. They're very, very bad people. who are deeply hateful and like incite a lot of really hateful speech in America, and I hate them. Like, I don't want to like take away from that.
Well, see, they also really, really hate women, so they hate...
Yeah, no, they really do. I mean, like, but I will say this. Of the kinds of people and families that are interesting to put a camera next to and watch, these guys rank above the Kardashians in terms of, like, I've never seen people hunt frogs before. It was kind of cool. Like, you know, they're like, they have a lot of land. They do, like, do stuff in it. It's a lot of hunting, which is, like, not totally my thing, but it's, like, it's, like, not totally completely boring. So, like, occasionally I was lulled into a vague sense of maybe being interested, and then it all went away. And then I skipped ahead. I watched, like, the first 5 episodes of the first season. And I skipped ahead to the 11th season. And man, if you thought it was scripted in the first season, it is just, like, dudes who cannot act reading. Like, it was like, the younger kid had started a business, and he walks into his dad's, like, office, and his dad was like, show me your records. And, like, sitcom style, the kid pulls a giant, like, bunch of, like, it doesn't even make sense. Like, it looks like it's, like, unrolled receipt paper, but it's not printed. It's got handwriting on it, which makes no sense. Because why wouldn't it be anything else? And, like, plops it on his dad's desk, like, cartoon style. And then they have a deeply, horrifyingly stilted conversation in which the son, quote-unquote, has an idea to sell soup instead of ice pop cones. And then his grandfather comes in and makes a very bad quip about how soup is good. And, like, it is shockingly terrible.
I mean, in season 1, there's an episode where the brother, who's CFO, which it doesn't make any sense, says he deserves an office, he doesn't have an office, so they decide to build an office. Instead, they decide to. They clearly have a giant production team building this thing, and you watch the 3 main characters, like, swing a hammer once in a while and go, oh, look, this is what redneck work looks like, even though you definitely had a production crew build a giant office. Then in a subplot, which, again, does not make any sense, the mom says, I want to buy goats.
Yeah, the mom is, like, the weird, like, eccentric-y one, apparently.
But she's not. Because, like,
really not.
And the thing talk about editing where, again, it's different from Keeping Up with the Kardashians. It's just that where you don't see people make 2 sentences in a row without a cut. It is so horribly edited that even, like, we're just watching them be them does not exist in any format.
No.
So anything about, like, starting an idea, or we'll then cut to, like, the talking heads thing, which are 100% scripted, because it looks like they're being fed lines, and they're being fed lines. It's not an interview.
See, here's the thing, though. I'm telling you, in the first season, they are being fed lines, as in they're being, like, they're set up, and then they respond. Mm-hmm. They are not literally reading what are clearly lines written by another human who sounds nothing like them. I swear.
Well, I think the talking heads do.
No. I know this now. I know that they're just weirdos and kind of stiff because now I've seen the 11th season and it's so much worse that I just, like, don't even... This show is bad. It's about hunting, which is not great. It's about, like, the only redeeming quality that this family has is that they did actually, like, make their money by, like, making a product that sells well. So, okay, fine, whatever. But they suck.
And the show is truly, like, morally horrendous.
Yeah.
Not just because they hate women and they hate LGBT community. They hate just so openly, and then the film says this is good blood of the earth Christian values.
Oh yeah, it's
every
gross.
episode, at least in season 1, ends with a glossy looking montage of them eating a giant family meal together. And so the film will never ever judge any of the males. It will keep referring to all the women as, like, shrews and harpies and whatnot. hates them for everything they're doing, and then go, but it's about family. But unlike Fast and Furious, this is some insincere bullshit because, damn it, that's all that Vin Diesel cares about is family in Corona.
This is like one of those shows that I remember when it came out, and there were a couple of people on the fringes of like art criticism and stuff being like, this is a really problematic and dangerous show. And everybody else going, don't be silly. This is a parody of itself. No one really thinks like this. No one really acts like this. You know, the people who are watching this are watching it for fun. Yeah, so everyone, you know, talked about how this was just benign, and all of us liberals were, like, getting up in arms about all this, and, like, that was clearly wrong to a degree that I don't think any of us even wrapped our minds around. And, like, this family in particular has done so much harm as spokespeople and has given a voice, along with a lot of other people in media who similarly were treated like laughingstocks, to the worst possible like version or kind of way to be an American and to be proud of being an American. And it is just like a perversion of everything this country stands for. Like freedom and, you know, hard work, because, yeah, sure, they got their money, and this entire show is about how they are basically fame whores who are getting everything paid for by a production company. And they clearly exist for just a huge amount of hatred in their hearts. And it's gross.
And propelling them onto this national stage, not only with just having a TV show, but to give them just like having Phil Robertson speak at CPAC and have them be regular contributors to Fox News, it's not only just like normalizing or validating them as, most of all, as interesting people, which they are not, or people who have thoughts worth hearing about, which they don't, but it is encouraging their horrible bigotry to a level that is, in the show's point of view, is synonymous with a type of like good, like honest values. This is what the Hollywood elite isn't like looking at. This is the real salt of the earth. First of all, if you're building a football field in the middle of an episode, you're an elite. I hate it all. Yeah, these are terrible people. This is a terrible show that is profiting off bigotry, and it's and more than that, it's a really boring ass show to watch.
Yeah.
It is a long 22-minute episode.
I found it slightly more interesting than Austin did to watch, and for that reason, like I might have a little bit of a higher henge rating in the very low range. But where are you at?
Henges.
0.5.
1.
She likes it twice as much as you do.
No, I mean, look, like
for the record, Sarah liked Duck Dynasty twice as much as I do.
Like, if you like a dumb, like, you know, nature hunting, you know, outdoorsy show, there are.
Well, maybe you should watch Duck Commander, which was the first thing that the company Duck Commander did, which they aired for 1 year on the Outdoor Channel. Which I think is exactly what this sort of thing should be, right?
Yeah, that is where they started.
They were mentioned like one episode. They were like featured. They were like, "Oh, these guys have personalities."
And then the next year they did one for their deer hunting stuff.
Yeah,
but
you can just watch the National Geographic Channel. They also have cheesy, like poorly edited
or how it's
things.
made.
Yeah,
there's a really good show on there about people who live in like super northern Alaska, and it's called like 5 Below Zero. It's about people who don't live anywhere near other people and they just have to make their own stuff. It's a good show.
Cool.
I used to watch it while on the elliptical. It felt worthwhile.
Nice. Were you at a gym? So were you surrounded by other people, watching a show with people and not surrounded by other people?
Yes.
100%. That's the way to be.
That is what happened.
That's the real America. Isolation around our neighbors.
Once I was watching the National Geographic Channel while I was on the elliptical, but I didn't know it was the National Geographic Channel, and I thought it was a documentary, but it was about what would happen if we stopped having electricity, and I thought it was about the blackout that happened in New York. It was very scary. I was like, people were killing each other. They didn't have water. And then I realized it was a dramatization of a dystopian future.
I think one Nat Geo show I watched on the Trimble one time, which is like, it was like trying to be like an edgy, like, oh, this is what the Border Patrol really is like.
Oh, God.
Turns out their days seem pretty boring.
Yeah.
And they have to really kind of pad out those episodes.
Yeah, like a show perhaps more morally reprehensible than Duck Dynasty, you mean?
Yeah. They're definitely not pro-immigrant in that show.
Oh, it's cool.
Anywho, this also was a
Turn on the
nightmare.
news and figure that out.
Yeah, in various ways. Yeah.
So, I mean, next week can't be as, like, rough as this week, right?
I mean...
We're watching Splendor in the Grass.
Have you seen that?
No, but the way you just said that is making me nervous.
I realized that my tone was very off. No, that's a much easier watch. It's a good melodrama with Natalie Wood in it.
So this is on number 360?
Yeah, we're going to 360th entry in all these lists.
Great number.
That is a good. That 360 is a great number. It's a
really, really good number.
I'll come around on it.
We're gonna have that
Yeah.
was
Prepare your argument.
That was actually very good.
You know, there's a reason why.
Nope, don't care.
Okay.
Because
the number's great.
It's a great number. The album is Rocks by Aerosmith.
I'm
which
excited.
I'm very excited.
Me too.
Huge fan of Aerosmith growing up.
You know what's the biggest Aerosmith thing that Sarah hasn't consumed yet? The movie Armageddon.
Oh,
I have not watched Armageddon. I have been on
film.
It is on Criterion. I own it on Criterion.
I have been on the Aerosmith roller coaster in Hollywood Studios in Orlando.
That's fun.
Which is an indoor roller coaster that puts giant speakers right next to your head. And as it starts, this dude looks like a lady really loud into your ears.
That's so
Why
great.
that song?
Did you just say Armageddon is in the Criterion Collection?
Yeah, it is.
Anyway.
Wow.
They have a commentary track of NASA scientists disproving the whole movie.
I might just watch.
That's awesome.
I've never seen Armageddon, and I feel like I want to watch it with that comedy track, with that commentary track, and just
You gotta do it proper.
No.
So good.
Is there a song?
Yeah,
There is a
do it
song.
with some dignity, Sarah. Just watch Armageddon the way God intended.
My song, the song, is Rocky Mountain High by John Denver.
Sweet.
Yeah.
And the TV show is an Australian miniseries called Anzacs?
Yeah.
I don't know how it's pronounced. I assume they're in episode 1.
Oh no, Anzacs. Those are It's a
World War One.
Yeah,
thing.
it's like Australian military.
Apparently this is good. It's like 5 episodes long, but I'm excited to see Paul Hogan not as Crocodile Dundee.
Weird.
Which would be
Whoa.
That's gonna freak me out.
Yeah, it's gonna be super
So
weird.
I hope he dies early because I don't have to deal with the whole confusion for 5 episodes. So anyway, that'll all be next week.
Wait, what's the film?
Splendor in the Grass.
Splendor in the Grass.
Did we say that?
Mhm.
Yeah.
I missed it.
That's
You weren't
fine.
listening.
No.
That's fine. JC sang it. It was nice.
It was
Oh,
nice.
okay.
Did I?
It was musical.
Okay. This should be done now.
It should.
Leave us a review on iTunes. Follow us on Twitter at the Immortals Pod. Go to theartofmore.com. Find this and all other episodes, including episodes of other podcasts, including Let's Take 5. This week what did we do? We had our
Almodovar.
Yes, I'm trying to think. We did the Skin I
I
Live
read the
In.
email.
Good. I'm trying to remember what comes out tomorrow.
It's not the wrap up.
I'm
That's
pretty
the thing.
No, I think I got it wrong. I think tomorrow is The Skin I Live In. The very fucked up. It actually would go very well with Audition.
Ugh.
But it stars
Great.
Antonio Banderas,
Ooh.
who does bad things.
Oh.
Also check out Ad Absurdum, the spiffy podcast where 2 lawyers talk about real life implications in pop culture. Maybe subscribe to it if you haven't. Maybe something's coming out in the future.
It could happen. Stranger things have happened.
You could wish for it for maybe a certain holiday coming up. I don't know.
Wish upon a star, like Jiminy Cricket, and it'll happen.
That's
You
what
look
JC
so
stands
defeated.
for.
Yeah.
Jiminy Cricket.
Yeah.
That is the most famous use of JNC as a name. Jiminy Cricket.
True.
Can I just start calling you Jiminy Cricket, JC?
Absolutely. Please feel free.
I look forward to Sarah forgetting that bit within a few minutes.
Sleepy.
We're gonna get sued by Disney.
That too.
Yeah, do not mention Jiminy Cricket and Audition in the same podcast, please.
That's fair.
I mean, I bet someone had to audition for the role of Jiminy Cricket at
Yeah.
some point.
And they got fucked up.
Then stuff got weird.
I guess I won't plug anything? I don't know.
No.
Jurassic World :
Fuck you.
It's over. It's over.
All right, we'll catch you all next week. I'm Austin.
I'm Sarah.
I'm Jiminy Cricket.
Yeah!
And I'm Pedro.
It sounds like you need to say, I'm Jiminy Cricket, motherfucker.
I'm Jiminy Cricket. Oh, shit. I'm Jiminy Cricket, motherfucker.
Good.
Nice.
All of those go in.
Bye, everyone.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Goodbye.